showing you how much you can make from angel investing. Now, I'm going to caveat this with, quite a lot. Just because you invest doesn't mean you'll do well, but this is how well you can do. And this is just one example of one platform. Now, I wanted to just quickly start and say, look how well you can do if we filter by how well you can do. Notice the valuation there, only 2 million for this nippy groceries, but it's gone up a lot. That is a hell of a lot. Starting at the bottom, let's start from the bottom. Just take some time to load. Don't always do so well. Sometimes things might even go down or go bust with angel investing, but stick with me. We're going to have a look at this. Some of these haven't made any, but these are often the smaller companies. And the other caveat is sometimes companies will raise capital on a number of these different types of platforms. So you can invest like in really small companies, like valued at £1 million. I think £1 million might be the smallest, £1 million. And there's also, you can't filter by, oh no, there's less than £1 million. Let's take a look at that. Temperature responsive coatings for agriculture. That sounds interesting, doesn't it? I mean, this is really, really, really small company. Look at that, though. They raised £1 million. That's pretty impressive. Anyway, how much can you make? There are plenty of small companies, but then there are some pretty big companies as well. Revolut 50x. Let's go up again. Stashby. I think I invested in a Stashby actually. It's one of mine. Up 45%. That's like the Airbnb for like storing things. Easy Hire, they're raising it again at the moment, part of the EasyJet group. Platform to hire out things, materials and equipment, but it's a franchise model. Square Mile Farms, that's vertical farming, at 40%. But you can do really well. Let's look at ones that have more than doubled. A Dog Club, tripled. Sock Company, more than tripled. Young Platform, I don't know what the hell that is. That's 4x'd, over 400%. Beeline, I can't remember what that is. Pity Plea, that's one I've invested in. I think they raised on Seedrs before they raised on Crowdcube, and that's an example. A lot of these do raise on a number of different platforms. That's 5x. I don't know what it's. I think for me, it's only gone up a little bit. I invested more recently. Plum, I'm an investor in Plum. That's gone up 588%. Again, they probably started on this platform, Seedrs, and then they gravitate and go to bigger platforms like Crowdcube. SunSwap, that's another one of mine. That's up 673%. I didn't invest at the start. I think what you can do in this secondary market is you can buy shares, you can buy and sell shares on this platform. You can buy it. Sometimes they're at a premium, people sell it for more. And sometimes you can buy them slightly cheaper than the market price. But I think you can find out, there is a way to find out how many raises they've done. So here you go, valuation. So this is for SunSwap. In 2021, they were valued at 1.7 million. They're now valued at 8 million. I'm going to stop sharing my screen and just check what they were valued at in Crowdcube. Hold on the line, guys, because this is just one example. I want to show you a few more examples because I think this is indicative of what happens with these companies. And they might raise on one platform, they might raise on two. They also, oh yeah, here we go. I may as well show you. I don't mind showing you one of my investments. It's not a big deal. You guys are pretty loyal. So look, here's it on Crowdcube. I invested £800 when it was valued at 1.9 million. And now it's gone up to 8 million. And I'm putting another 1,000. I put in quite a lot actually. This is a big, decent amount for me, 2K in one company. But it just shows you, you know, here it is on Seedrs. So they did a raise in April 2021 at 1.8. And in Crowdcube, doesn't say the date actually. Does it say the date? 2021. So that was May and August. So they did another raise on Crowdcube. So they raised 500 on Crowdcube, and they raised, maybe it was the same raise. I don't know if they share it, but I heard that Seedrs are exclusive, so that would counter their opinion. Anyway, we've got a bit caught up in this bad boy. I don't actually normally calculate how much money I've made, to be honest. If it's up 6x, then I guess I will have made about 5 grand in that, which is not bad. I'm pretty happy with that. Anyway, you can make more. The reason I like SunSwap is because my grandfather was very large in making solar energy a thing. He kind of invented the mechanism to make it effective in the modern world in the 1970s and 80s. Anyway, I have, because of that, I have an interest in solar energy. What else? Oddbox, look at that, 30x for Oddbox. I'm an investor in them, but I came in very, very late with those guys. I think mine's only got up 10-20%. Cheeky Panda is a retail brand that they sell kind of recycled. I think it's like upcycled or recycled loo paper. That's up 10x. So, you can do very, very well. Very, very well. Yeah. And some of the biggest ones, Revolut, up 50x. I've done a video about Revolut. I kind of feel that fintech, I'm not kind of zeroing in on Revolut. I think it's the wider market. But fintech is kind of a little bit bubbly. And they're not making a lot of profit, Revolut. So I think there's, it's interesting that is 50x and it's valued at 23 billion, right? But Landtech is at 160 million. It's a much smaller valuation, but it's up 74x. So, that's kind of crazy. And that's up, what is that, up 186x? So I guess that was maybe a really tiny valuation. Let's have a look at this. It's like mad. I don't really understand this, because how can it be up that much and that they haven't had a previous raise? It's a little bit unusual, to be honest. Maybe they were on another platform or something, and they were only valued at like 20k or something, whatever it is. I'm going to ignore that one, to be honest. I think I've heard of Land Technologies, I've heard of Revolut, I know Landbay. So yeah, this is kind of how well you can do. And note that, this is not the top of the tree. It's the top of the tree for this secondary market, but the secondary market is only the companies that have that facility. There are thousands of other companies that aren't on secondary markets, or they're not ready to list on it in that kind of way. So these guys have been doing it for 11 years. Look at that. They're only valued at 600k. So to get that kind of return, you really need to get in early. But this is kind of where the risk lies with angel investing, is investing early. You can lose your money. So, had you waited until 2016, about 7 years ago now, sorry, you still would have done well. You've 8x your money. But that's kind of where it might have been a bit safer. They've already raised tons of cash. And, you've seen them almost 10x in 2 years. That's kind of more safer zone. And different investors want to invest at different times. Some people will invest, early. Other people, will wait until it's already done quite well. Other people will invest even later. And it just depends on your makeup, your decisions. And I wanted to just say that, this is just one platform. There's a bunch of platforms offering secondary markets. And I think even the ones that don't offer secondary markets want to add it to their platforms. So if you're watching this in 2025, 2026, I'm sure there'll be a lot of platforms out there probably working on a secondary market. I wouldn't be surprised if in the future, all of these angel investment platforms sync up with an API and allow you to trade stocks a bit like the stock market, but a kind of angel investing private stock market. I mean, that would be a fantastic idea if anyone wants to work on that. I mean, that would be, that would be revolutionary. That would be awesome. Wouldn't think it'd be that hard, to be honest. But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I've enjoyed making it. I've learned a little bit even about some of the companies I've invested in. SunSwap, nice surprise that it's 5-6x since I've invested in it. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. Remember, I've got other videos about investing in startups, investing in equities, and finding value through analysis and insights. Take care. Cheers. Knowledge is power, especially the right kind of knowledge, progress, everything. Almost forgot that. And there's some videos here that you might enjoy. Take care.